Nicholas here with Zenith Design Build, and I'm joined with
Tracey Hurst.
We're over here at 724 37th Street, and we did Tracey's kitchen. Beautiful kitchen right here.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your, why did you choose to go with Zenith out of all the people you met with? You met with like two other people?
I met with 4 contractors.
4, okay.
And
4.
4 contractors. And I ended up going with you all because of just the design that you presented.
Hey, kitty.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just, the ideas and that I felt like you listened to what I wanted and tried to figure out ways to accommodate what I wanted. And so it felt comfortable.
Yeah. So
when
like,
we met.
So what was the biggest decision for you? Like, so I always tell clients that it's always like you want to pick somebody that's the best fit, but obviously cost is a concern, design is a concern. There's other concerns, right? But what was like the deciding factor for you? Was it fit? Was a little bit of fit and cost? Like, what was the most important to you?
For me, it was really more about fit and the design.
Yep.
So a couple others that I had.
Kitty, that's hilarious. It's okay.
She was part of the design and construction process too. But a couple other contractors, like one just said, "Yeah, we can do this," but there was no real sense of design, and so I didn't feel like I was going to get what I really wanted without it being. I don't know, that it was going to get way complicated.
Yeah. And or you're going to have to pick everything out yourself or something like that.
Well, or the biggest issue I had when you all came in and, was that the stove was up against a wall. And moving the stove down 4 inches was not going to solve the problem.
Oh, yep.
So, when you came and moved the stove to the other side, that just made sense.
Yep.
So it was those kinds of things. Everything with me is about relationships, so I just felt comfortable working with you.
Good. And so little things like that too is I think one of the biggest things we pride ourselves on too is, and especially in the initial phases, is really like listening to what you need, what you want. Because I think a lot of, like, so much of it, it's just like I always ask clients why. Like, why do you want this? Like, what do you want done? Like, why do you want a new kitchen? Why do you want this? Like, because I think it's always important to think about the why, and that determines like where you want to place things or how you want to make your kitchen more functional or whatnot. So let's talk a little bit more about like what are all the things that you like the most about the change of your kitchen? Because we didn't change a ton of things. I mean, we gutted everything.
Everything was gone.
But what's some of the biggest changes that you appreciate the most right now?
All of the storage. I had no storage in the old kitchen, and the pantry. Oh.
Yeah.
The pantry's awesome. I have empty shelves still, which is so weird for me. I've never had empty shelves. And just being able to organize things in a way that makes it more functional has been the best.
Nice.
I mean, I love everything about it, but just, having all of my stuff kind of in where it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And it's amazing, like, the little changes that can make a big impact. Because we didn't change a ton about this. Like, we're working with the same space.
Right.
It was just changed in a way. And Jen did an amazing job with
Jen's
work.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's get into that. Let's talk. Okay. So how was your experience working through that design phase with Jen Haywood?
She's the best. I love Jen. I'm keeping Jen's number.
Yeah, good. She's great.
She, again, she listened to what I wanted. She gave me ideas. She was really open to my suggestions, but was also very good about, well, what about this? Or
kind of guiding you in the right direction to make sure you get the best out of your kitchen.
Absolutely. And probably the biggest... the cupboards I originally picked out were not available in what I wanted. Okay. And so Jen brought me a sample of what we ended up installing. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so much better. Good. Perfect. But we were really on the same page too about a lot of things, especially the countertop. We all loved the countertop. And the backsplash, we looked at several and we all landed on, that's the one. So
and she, like, She really does a good job, again, at that listening part, like making sure, like, I mean, like, ultimately, she's a designer, but she always tries to make sure that you're going to get the most out of what you want, not just what she wants. Like, a lot, you know, like, that's, I think, very, very important to us, is like, it's ultimately not our kitchen, it's your kitchen. So, like, we want to tell you all the design things that, like, are important to us and important to design aesthetics, but ultimately, if you want something, like, it's your kitchen, it's not ours.
Right.
And not that, like, Jen had to go back and forth too much with you, but, like, but it's just, like, we want to make sure it's your kitchen and you want what you want. So I think that's important.
And this is a really old house, so the kitchen had to not be so different from the character of the house that it really just, you know, didn't fit. And I think Jen did a really nice job working with me to make that not happen.
Make it blend with the rest. Because you have these deep wood tones other places, and it really kind of matches the rest of your house, which is super nice.
It is. So I love that. But just,
any other features, like anything, like you say we have a composite sink.
I have a composite
sink.
The composite sink. Yeah, I do. I like that a lot. I love this countertop.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the find.
Yeah.
This makes
and it's quartz, so there's less maintenance in granite. We talked about granite originally, and then we moved to quartz.
Yeah. So no maintenance to it. Just wipe it off.
Yeah.
You know, I originally said I didn't want a tile floor. I have a tile floor and I really like it. Yeah. It's easily cleaned. It's, you know, it's comfortable. It's level. Yeah.
Well, and also we're not competing with the other wood floors in the house too, which is, I think, really important.
Yes. So again, it's still it blends with the rest of the house.
Yeah, very well, I think. Very well. So let's talk a little bit about the construction phase. Okay, so we met, we did the pre-construction meeting, we went through all of that, and then we got started. We had demo day. I was here part of the demo day. I don't do that a lot, but it's a lot of fun to me. But when we get into the construction phase, how was your experience working through that with me? And I know you didn't work as much with Jim, but how did you feel about the whole construction phase?
I thought it went amazingly well. Okay. There were a couple of hiccups.
And there always are.
I'm sure there are. Yeah. But no, I really thought it went as well. And I've been through a small remodel before, but nothing like this. And all of the guys that came in to do work were awesome. Yeah. All of them. Jim and Travis are amazing. Yeah. George, Jorge. Yep. My painter was great. Yeah. Justin and Brandon doing the electrical were awesome. Yeah. I mean, they were really good. I know when the floor's uneven one way and the ceiling's uneven another way, the way y'all fixed that is perfect. You can't tell.
Yeah, I think, and it's those little things that make a big impact when you go forward. It's like, once we do demo, that's a really, really good time for us to check the levelness of everything. If we need to change any game plans, which we discussed with you, is like, this is maybe what we should be doing to make sure that we don't see some of this unlevelness, and we can kind of hide it, but make everything correct in the end.
Right.
Not like make everything unlevel, but still have levelness, but be able to hide it by just like small little details.
And I appreciated that. So that was one of the changes. The cabinets were to go to the ceiling, but the ceiling was not level and the floor was not level, and that was not going to work. But y'all made it work so that it looks great. Yeah. It ended up looking really, really good still, even if we made that slight change. Yeah. How about like communication throughout this process and cleanliness, some of those details that people talk about, right? So like when you're picking a contractor, a lot of times those are very, very important to people. Are they clean? Are they on time? Are they this? All those different things. So maybe talk a little bit about that. Like, for the most part, I expected mess because that's what happens. It's construction. It's going to be a mess. But no, everyone was really good about kind of cleaning up after themselves. For the most part, people were on time. If they were coming, I usually knew when they were coming. We kind of got used to just, if somebody shows up, they should, and we talked a little bit about that throughout the progression of it. Is like we really try to do a good job at giving that schedule out to our clients, and I was a little bit stretched thin, and I didn't do a good job at that. But it's one of those things where if I'm going to make a mistake there, I'm going to try to make sure that I compensate with extra communication or do a better job with communicating. And it was was, I mean, if I had a question, you responded right away. If I asked, okay, what's going on this week, just so I know kind of what the plan is, you got right back to me so I could, you know, figure out where, plan and coordinate, you know, where's my dog need to be, or am I in my house or out of my, you know, kinds of things. So, yeah, that part, I think we worked it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
we managed it.
We talked and we communicated and it worked out. The other thing, so like schedule, like how do you feel about the schedule of the project? Like, was it too short, too long? And it's never too short, but like, what were your thoughts on that? I know we had a little bit of countertops took a little while to fabricate, which I always tell people that takes some time.
That took a little longer. I mean, it was what I expected, I guess. You know, we said 6 to 8 weeks, and it was pretty much right on 8 weeks, and that was partly with the countertops. So no, the schedule. I was ready to be done.
Yeah, sure. I always tell.
I really wanted to be in my new kitchen.
Yeah. Well, I always tell clients that too. Is like, you're going to want us to be done quickly. So like, having the right plan in place, having the cabinets already in stock, makes a big difference. So it doesn't go from 6 to 8 weeks to 3 months, you know, like, so that's really important to us, is to set those right expectations in the beginning and then actually follow through those with those expectations. We try to exceed those, but they don't always get exceeded, but at least we're setting the right expectations in the beginning.
Yeah. And I would rather know, I want to know that it's going to be probably 6 to 8 weeks, as opposed to tell me it's going to be 4 and it turns into, I'd rather go the long, you know.
And that's kind of, there's a delicate balance there, because sometimes we lose jobs because other people are saying things that they can't actually do, or maybe they can do it. I don't really know, but that's one of the things that we always tell people, like, we're going to be real with you from the very, very beginning, with price, with everything. And another thing with let's talk about price a little bit. So we hardly deviated from the budget at all.
No,
right?
I mean, we were pretty much right on budget.
Yeah, our deviation was a couple add-ons. You wanted us to paint some other areas. We had an extra layer on the floor, but very, very minor overall with the whole scope of work.
Right, and the floor was to level it. So I mean, the additional work on the floor was to my benefit. I mean, totally. So now I have a level kitchen floor.
Or at least leveler than it was.
Maybe more not perfect, level than it was. I couldn't get and painting the entryway in was minor, but it was really important. Very worth it to me. So no, the budget really didn't. I had a contingency fund.
Did we use it all?
Oh no.
Okay, perfect. Great. Well, darn. Just kidding. That's one of those things where it's like, it's important for us to set those expectations. And the proposal we had a lot of allowances there because we didn't actually go through the design process prior. So really, like, we are designing this kitchen around the proposal and making sure that we're setting all those expectations up front and fulfilling those expectations. So you're not like all of a sudden, it's a $30,000 kitchen and now all of a sudden it's a $50,000 kitchen. Right. Which that would have probably been very, very frustrating.
That would have, that would have been a pain point.
That would have been a pain point.
And so the contingency fund was really for structural stuff, more like, did we run into electrical issues, or if we ran into some serious plumbing issues, that kind of thing. So that was,
not really much of any issues there.
No.
And with these types of kitchens, like without removing a bunch of walls, like we typically don't get into quite as many unknowns. But I still tell people you should account for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
5-10% maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were at percentage wise, but we weren't close to that.
No, not even close to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like
under $1,000.
Yeah, under $1,000 for all the changes.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Not every project's like that, but that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So if a family member or a friend, if they asked you, would you recommend Zenith? Would you recommend Zenith?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why?
Just because of what all we've talked about. I mean, I think this kitchen came out better than I expected or thought it could, because I wasn't sure, because the old kitchen was so awful. Everybody who worked on it was professional and nice and respectful, and costs came in at where we thought they would come in, and Yeah, absolutely. I would. I've told a couple neighbors they've been curious.
There we go. Nice. Yeah, tell anybody you want.
I will.
Yeah. Well, Tracey, it was a pleasure working with you. Hopefully, we have some more projects here in the future, or at least you get to come to some of our events or have fun with us.
Yes.
But it was a pleasure. You've been like a complete pleasure to work with.
Well, thank you. You guys too.
Yeah, and it's for us. It's so nice to like work with nice clients that really, really, really appreciate what we do for them. And when we get nice text messages from you or other people, like, I mean, that makes our day, and that's why we do what we do. I mean, that's a huge portion of it. Yeah. And it makes everybody's life really, really enjoyable when we work with good clients. So I appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you. Yeah. It was fun. I mean,
I think demo day, you were just like super excited. You were like, you were ready to rock and roll. And
I was.
It's a lot. It's really, really fun to see everything get taken out. I'm sure it's a little nostalgic in some ways, but
not a lot.
Maybe not. No. But when we take everything out and we start putting things in, I think since clients don't see this a lot, it's really fun to actually see like the progression of everything. Like, it's starting to look like a kitchen now.
Yeah.
It's starting to look nice. It's like it's getting there, and every single piece of it, just like it's one more step, and you just get more and more excited to actually use it.
Yeah. So. The day the cupboards went up, oh my gosh.
Yeah, with a huge impact, right? Huge. Like cupboards go up, and you're like, whoa, wow, it's a kitchen again.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So no, it was good. It was very good.
Good. Well, thank you, Tracey. Appreciate that.
Thank you.